he'll probably learn the playbook. He said he got his iPad today, which I'm guessing that's where all the plays are, the playbook is.
Yeah.
It's not like a big binder like it used to be. It's now all digital and everything. We're 2025.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jerry Jones doesn't live in 2025. He lives in the 90s. So. Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Let's Talk Pack. This is episode 3. Roy,
That's right.
We made to episode 3.
It's pretty impressive.
It's pretty impressive. And this time we got the camera working. Don't worry. I got it down right now. So hopefully the camera's good. Hopefully your audio is great. But yeah, another week and
Not much happened, right?
Yeah, nothing much happened, right? I mean, I would say a pretty big week for the Packers, but it's just a normal week, right?
Yeah, so the 53-man roster has been set, and then maybe a few additions since then.
Yeah,
So
a few additions. One very key addition. We'll save that for later. But for now, we'll kind of talk about the 53-man. Because that's the first thing that happened this week.
Yeah.
Is the Packers had to get the roster down to 53 players.
They did. Yeah.
Some key players were cut. Some surprises. Some not so surprising. Who was your surprise cut?
My surprise cut was Kalen King. I thought Kalen King was going to make the team, and he didn't make it, and he's not on the practice squad. He actually went to the Panthers.
Right.
So that for me, I actually thought he would, make the team because he was having a pretty good camp, and the last preseason game alone, he was just making play after play, and I was pretty impressed. And unfortunately, he didn't make the team. But that was my surprise.
I think my surprise cut would have been, I mean, it's not a surprise to some people, but it's a little bit of a surprise to me because there was so much hype around this person. And it's Isaiah Simmons, linebacker, who got a lot of time on the field. But I kind of saw it coming because I saw what he put out there on the field. It wasn't quite what the Packers were looking for. Even more surprising, though, they didn't keep Christian Welch, which is a big thing. You're keeping only 4 linebackers.
Yeah.
But we'll get to that later, though. Again, we're teasing it. We're very slowly teasing it right now. But yeah, only keeping 4 linebackers. Fortunately, though, they did bring back Christian Welch on the practice
squad. Yeah.
So again, though, very just surprising with Isaiah Simmons, just because there's so much hype around this guy. He's a top 10 pick. Just to see how he played on the field, though, it looked like he was just probably going to stick around on special teams.
Mm-hmm.
But you have that in Christian Welch. Moving on to, so Packers, 53-man roster is set.
Yep.
So I guess right now, moving on from that,
Yeah, I think the elephant in the room, the thing we really want to talk about is Micah Parsons.
This is probably one of the biggest signings trades that I've seen in Packers history. This is
huge
for the Packers. Now, and as fans, we've seen the Packers constantly not get top tier talent.
Yeah. And they've always been in the talks. We've always heard Brian Gutekunst come out and say, yeah, we were in the talks, and we've heard that time and time again. And it can be frustrating as a fan because only one team gets that big player that's on the trade block or whatever.
Right.
And we tend to not be that team.
Yeah.
But guess what? We were that team.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
We were that one out of the other 31s that, could have gotten trades.
Right.
We were the only one that got it, and that's a huge deal.
And the funny thing is, these rumors trade talks didn't quite heat up until this week.
Yeah.
Micah Parsons was not on the radar for the Packers at all. Like maybe a little bit maybe a little blimp on the radar.
Yeah, there's like hypotheticals, but it just seems so unlikely that, yeah, sure, we could talk hypotheticals all day.
Yeah.
And it's just whatever. Like for me, I was like, cool, if it happens, it happens. But now that it happened, I'm like, dude, it's awesome.
Yeah.
But like, I was just like, I don't know, it's probably not going to happen. So I didn't pay much attention to it except for just the high level, hey, this could happen, but probably not.
Just looking at the stats, and you might notice me looking at my computer here. I'm just trying to look up this huge contract that Parsons has signed with the Packers. Not
Lots of money.
only only so not only did he get traded to the Packers, he's got 1 year left on his rookie contract. And that was part of the reason why he wanted to get out of Dallas. The Cowboys weren't willing to give Parsons what he wanted. But looking at the contract right now, if I could pull this up here, it's 4 years and a lot of guaranteed money.
Isn't it 3 years?
I think it's 3 or 4, one of the two. Let me
Yeah,
double check
I
just to
think
make
it's
sure
three
here.
years, but you could be right there too.
All right. Oh no.
It is a
So
four.
yeah, it is
Oh
four.
wow,
So
geez,
yeah, 4 years, $188 million contract.
it's a big deal.
That's a whole lot of dollar bills, and that's a whole lot of zeros right after the
Yeah,
188. Again, though, the Packers just bringing out the money for a man who could potentially be in the Hall of Fame,
yeah,
which says a lot about Micah as a person, but also as a player.
yeah. And what's kind of cool too is like you said, that's a lot of dollar bills. This doesn't just happen overnight too, because if you think about it, a few years ago, Goody traded away Aaron Rodgers, got some draft picks, and
Right,
then took some money off the books. Traded away Devontae Adams, got some draft picks, took some money off the books. Here we are in 2025, able to make this big purchase basically
right.
because of all those decisions leading up to it. So, the forward thinking and the long-term goal of this team has always kind of been about 2025 is that really big window to open up and to take that Super Bowl like push. And
Right.
I think it's just amazing that you kind of see how all the chips fell, and it's
Yeah.
all because of stuff that happened in the past that this moment was able to happen and we could welcome Micah Parsons to America's team. Growing up, my dad, he's a huge Dallas Cowboys fan. I don't know, I was raised right. Somehow I ended up a Packers fan. But he would always say that's America's team, and my mom would shoot right back and say, nope, the Packers are America's team. And he was sad about this signing. He was
Yeah.
sad about it, the trade, but
Yeah.
it's okay.
But yeah, this contract, I mean, even the contracting itself, he has, or Micah Parsons right now is the highest paying non-quarterback in the NFL, which again says a lot. There's a lot
That's
of
awesome.
quarterbacks out there, like he's basically reset the market for defensive players.
And if he performs the way he has the past couple years, I mean, he earned that,
Yeah.
and he'll earn every bit of that. And I'm excited because he is a top tier talent, and to pay that money for him, that's fine.
Just looking at his stats, the past 4 years, 12 plus sacks
Yeah.
each of his 4 years
You know who else
in the
did that?
NFL.
You know who else did that?
Reggie
Reggie
White,
White.
yeah, Reggie White, and Reggie White is somebody that, and we'll kind of bring up his press conference here. When he was talking about Reggie in his press conference, you could tell that both are very similar in a way, and he's drawing a lot of comparisons to Reggie White,
hmm
not only because he's probably one of the biggest signings in Packers history, but
Huge.
huge. But like he's drawing comparisons to Reggie in the fact that his stats almost line up with Reggie's the first 4 years.
Yeah.
But here's the difference. We got Reggie in his prime, but he was in his 30s at that point.
hmm
He still had a couple years left in the tank.
Yeah.
You're looking at Micah Parsons at 26 years old
Yeah.
in his prime, and he's probably one of the best defensive players in the NFL.
Top 10 easily.
Yeah. And he's joining the youngest team in the NFL right now.
hmm
And to add to that youth, because Micah Parsons isn't that old, 26 years old,
No.
that he's still under 30. He's still got a lot in the tank left. So what does that do for the Packers in the future here?
Yeah, I think it does a lot. I mean, because like you said, it's already the youngest team in the NFL, and then you're going to take someone that's right in that same age group and stick them in there, and they're going to continue to grow together and stay as a cohesive unit for the next couple of years.
Yeah.
That is amazing. And Kenny Clark, we love you, man.
Yeah.
Great. And it sucks. I was actually thinking as soon as I heard about the Micah Parsons, I was like, oh man, it's gonna be great. Defensive front and my, Kenny Clark. First
Yeah.
thing that came to mind. Well, then he had to go. He had
Yeah.
to go.
And unfortunately, in this deal, so we didn't bring that up yet. The trade deal, so we get Micah Parsons for the Packers. The Packers had to send 2 first-round draft picks.
Yep.
So those 2 first-round draft picks are in 2026 and 2027. So the Packers won't have a draft pick or first-round draft pick until at the latest 2028.
Yeah. Unless there's some trades, which
Yeah,
could happen, but
that could happen,
probably not.
but probably not. And
Yeah.
it's gonna take a lot to get a first-round draft pick. We also traded away Kenny Clark. He was involved in that deal. Longest tenured Packer on the team,
Yeah.
which is amazing because if you think about it, he was the last remaining player that was drafted by Ted Thompson
Yeah.
back in 2016.
Yeah.
And I think, yeah, yes, he was the last first round draft pick that Ted Thompson ever made
Mhm.
because 2017 we didn't have a first round draft pick. We could have, but we'll come back to that later because we could have drafted TJ Watt, but instead we traded down and got Kevin King. And well, that's a whole different story for later. Don't get me started on that because I will always bring up the fact that we passed over TJ Watt for Kevin King. And no offense to Kevin King, I love the guy. Just we could have had TJ Watt.
Yeah. That would have
And
been
we
pretty
wouldn't be in the situation right now where we wouldn't be here talking to you about Micah Parsons if we had drafted TJ Watt at that point. But yeah, Kenny Clark gone from the Packers leaves a little bit of a hole on defense.
Yeah. Especially on the run,
Yeah,
Devontae Wyatt, he's kind of going to be the new number one there, on the line, but he's not really shown to be that run stuffer. He gets really good pressure on the quarterback, which is great. We need that,
yeah.
obviously, but he's not going to be the same level of run stuffing ability that Kenny Clark has.
Another thing we're gonna bring up here is where's Micah gonna play on defense here? He's basically listed as a defensive end right now.
Hmm.
So he's probably gonna be on the front four there.
Yep.
So you have Rashawn Gary on the other end, which that frees up Rashawn. We'll see how Rashawn will play once he's freed up because now he's not the man targeted.
Yeah.
You gotta
I
focus on
mean,
another end.
I know it's gonna be crazy because I was thinking about Rashawn Gary. That I thought he was gonna have a good season already. I thought, he's just poised to do it. But now it's like no, almost no question he's gonna have a good season. He's gonna have a great season
Right.
because he can win those one-on-ones. Not as often as Micah Parsons probably, but he can do that on his own and hold his own. But now they're gonna have to double team, Micah Parsons, and it's gonna be
Right.
great. It's gonna be a lot of fun to watch.
I think the issue with last year with Rashawn Gary, and probably for the past couple of years too, is that he was mostly keyed on. Like
Hmm.
he's like the targeted guy. Like
Yeah.
we need to double team him.
Yep.
Like you know, we can't have him be singly blocked. Like, and that's the issue. Is if you have two ends, one of them's got to make it.
Hmm.
A lot of times, none of them made like,
I know.
and I think that's a big point of emphasis too, that the Packers didn't really quite have that pass rush
Yeah.
last year.
I mean, we
Yes,
saw it time
yeah,
and time again, like in the playoffs too. I mean, it's like you got four guys rushing, nothing happens. You,
yeah,
you bring that extra man, maybe you get some pressure, but then that leaves a hole in
right,
the secondary.
yeah,
And it was kind of cool because Jeff Halfley with some of his schemes was able to work in and bring some extra guys to get that pressure, but
yeah,
to not have to manufacture it, to just let the four guys come and rush and actually get pressure, that's going to be a game changer because
right,
people said we got to address our cornerback room. Now you don't really have to do that as much
right,
because when you're getting pressure,
yeah,
you're going to either get that sack or the quarterback's going to get pressured and have to throw sooner, so the cornerbacks don't have to cover as long.
yeah,
It's going to be just a total game changer,
right,
not only for Rashawn Gary, probably going to get more sacks.
yeah,
Lucas Van Ness might actually get a
right,
handful of sacks this year, and they might
and
play him on the inside a little
yeah,
bit too, and just shuffle him around. And
and what Micah Parsons is bringing to the Packers is versatility for the others because
exactly.
you look at the defensive end room.
Hmm.
You've got Rashawn Gary, you got Lucas Van Ness, you got Kingsley Enagbare,
Hmm.
and now you got Micah Parsons. Four solid pass rushers there. I mean, not before, they were pretty solid too,
Yeah.
but they just got just another level right now,
Yeah.
you know, and now you can just mix it up a little bit, and that's the thing with Micah Parsons is the impact now that he's had on the Packers. He hasn't even played a down, and yet you're looking at a defense right now that's probably gonna be. I mean, for me, I think they're gonna be top five.
Oh,
I
I think
think.
so. I mean, they were a top 10 defense last year by some metrics, and I think obviously with the addition, it's going to be top 5 easily. I mean, that's what you need to win a championship. Even the years when we had Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers win those Super Bowls, we still had a really good defense,
Yeah.
and I think that's exciting to think that we could win a Super Bowl, with a top 5 defense,
Yeah.
which would be awesome.
And it's awesome to think too, and we brought it up earlier how Micah is being compared to Reggie White.
Hmm.
And that's the type of impact that Micah Parsons is going to have. He's going to be, I mean, possibly a Hall of Famer someday. I'm
Yeah.
not going to say right now he's going right into, he's got a free ticket to Hall of Fame. No,
Well, even
but
like Goody said, someone asked him like, "Does this help solidify your Super Bowl window?" And he said, "Hey, hey, we haven't even won a game yet.
right.
Okay, let's settle
Yeah.
down." And same thing with the Hall of Fame. He still has to play, but if he continues on that trajectory,
Yeah.
I mean, golly, he's going in.
Just the type of person we kind of saw Micah Parsons be like, during the press conference. What I saw was a guy who is very family oriented, um, who is chasing greatness. And that's the thing, like he's a lot like Reggie White in a way, in the fact that he's chasing greatness right now. He
Hmm.
said that, like when he looked in the halls of Lambeau Field, he saw pictures of Brett Favre, Reggie White, all the legends. And he looked at it and he said, I want to be up there.
That's awesome. That gives
And
me the chills thinking
yeah,
about that because like that's not just a hey, look at me, I'm awesome for this moment. He wants to be awesome for eternity, pretty much. For as long as the Packers exist, he wants his name to be coincided with that, and hopefully Super Bowl champion
yeah,
as well. That's awesome.
yeah. And I think that's the type of person Micah is he's very, very competitive, but at the same time, he's got a motor that and like just a mindset of a champion.
Hmm.
Even though he hasn't won a championship yet, he still has that mindset of I want to be great. I
Hmm.
want and that's something that we should all strive for in life
Yeah.
is we want to be great. We want to be the best at what we do. But we got to be humble about it. A
Right.
lot of people aren't very humble with, things like, success and things like that. Micah Parsons is very successful when it comes to playing in the NFL. Right now, he's only been here 4 years. But again, 12 plus sacks in his first 4 years. He's made an impact on the league right now. And again, it it sucks for the Cowboys
It
because
does.
yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, but he's still, and this is the type of person he is. He still thanked the Cowboys and their fans for his first 4 years,
Hmm.
um, in the NFL.
I wanted to share a quote that I read earlier. It was from him as a rookie, and he was wearing the green dot. He was receiving the calls, and then telling all the players what's going on. And something that he says, I kind of understand every coverage that we're in, why we're running it, what situations we'll be in. I understand what we're trying to do, but now I want to understand what they're trying to do against me.
Right,
And for me, I was just like, that's the mindset of a competitor. He's not
right,
just like, all right, I'm checking all the boxes, what my coach wants me to do. It's like, no, what are they trying to do against me?
yeah,
And how can I get better and get good enough to recognize it and then go and blow it up,
right,
which is awesome. So like I think that
yeah.
like just his competitive spirit and his mindset is just gonna be a game changer for our defense here.
Yeah, and I think his mindset too, it reminds me a lot of one of my favorite athletes is Kobe Bryant,
Hmm.
and he had this mindset called the Mamba mindset, and I think that Micah has that. I think he has that Mamba mindset. And God bless, Kobe, and rest in peace. But I've loved, and that's something that I follow sometimes, just to chase greatness and things like that.
Hmm.
That certain mindset sets a normal player from a legend, or
Right.
in that way.
Yeah,
So again, though, it's just great to have Micah Parsons here,
it
and
is. It's
the
awesome.
fact he's wearing number one, which
Yeah, Curly
yeah,
Lambeau, that was,
I
yeah.
think it was Curly Lambeau was the only person to wear number one. So
That's a
Micah
pretty big
Parsons, yeah,
deal.
and this is over the history of the Green Bay Packers, which is over 100 years.
Yes, since 1919.
Yeah,
So,
and again, just the historical impact
yeah.
about Micah Parsons coming here. It says a lot about the Packers, and I kind of want to revert back to the fact that the Packers aren't the type of team to make trades like this.
No, they're not. They
No.
haven't been, and like I said, they've been in the mix and they've always been in the conversations, but ultimately they have not been the one to come home with the prize,
Right.
right? And
Yeah.
this time they were. Speaking of kind of that missing piece to kind of put them over the edge to get to the Super Bowl, I know Micah Parsons, he's the big hot topic right now,
Yeah.
right? But the bigger one that we should really be thinking about is not just a one-time, not just a two-time, but a three-time Super Bowl champion
Oh
that the
yeah.
Packers have recently acquired. This person has been on the Super Bowl champion team for the Eagles and then for the Chiefs the two before.
Yeah.
Darian Kinnard or Kennard, not exactly sure how to
Kidder
say
gonna
it.
yeah.
But I gotta say, if Micah Parsons maybe doesn't live up to expectations, this guy has an expectation that he's going to get a fourth ring this year.
Oh yeah,
Okay,
exactly.
so I think this might even be bigger news than Micah Parsons
Yeah.
because he's good luck. I gotta say, all right,
Right.
even if he doesn't play a single down on the field, he's good luck.
Yeah.
So I think we might just be in store for a Super Bowl, not only because of Micah Parsons and he'll do great on the field, but this guy,
Yeah.
he'll bring the luck.
And
So
that's weird that story or that update kind of went under the radar.
yeah,
Nobody kind of saw it, but it's sneaky good because the Packers need a little bit of help on the offensive
yep,
line.
some extra depth
Yeah,
there. So
extra depth. So yeah, welcome to Green Bay, and hopefully, we'll give you the same welcome as we gave Parsons.
yeah,
I mean, probably not the same huge press conference and anticipation that everybody had been waiting for. Coming back to the Micah Parsons trade, so because this is probably one of the biggest trades in Packers history, all of us are probably going to remember probably where we were when this happened because when this story broke um, yesterday, it basically almost broke the internet and broke Green Bay. And like you will remember where you were. So I'll
I
ask you,
do.
Roy, where were you when you heard about this trade?
Well, I just got in my car. I was heading to my farm. I'm a dairy farmer. I was heading to my farm, and all of a sudden I turn on the sports radio, and Marcus Eversole on 107.5 The Fan, he doesn't joke around. And when he said, "No way, I have the best breaking news to share," and then he, did his little song thing that goes into it, and then he shared that Micah Parsons was being traded. And I was like, no way, no way. And I felt the excitement that I think a lot of people felt the days before with Taylor Swift and Travis Kelsey getting engaged. Like
Right.
the Swifties were very excited. I think that I had that similar excitement when I heard it. So then I called my cousin Russell, he's in South Carolina. He's a huge, huge Dallas Cowboys fan. And he's like, no, that's just got to be rumors. That's fake. That's BS. And I said, I don't know. Heard on the radio, pretty reliable source said, I
Yeah.
think it's gonna happen. And when I'm on the phone with him, you're texting me and saying, dude, we got him. And then Dan, he's a Lions fan. My friend Dan texted me. He said, you guys just got a whole lot better on defense. And it was just like this whirlwind of, amazing kind of fun emotions. And
Right.
I was just, I don't know, I was overjoyed. So where were you?
So I was at work, and for some reason, I kept checking my phone. I don't know why. Because earlier in the week, the Micah Parsons trade rumors were kind of still up there.
Hmm.
So I kind of just was like, I'll just check my phone just to see what's going on. I saw a tweet from Adam Schefter that said that the trade talks are heating up. The Cowboys are open to a trade and willing to talk to any team that's looking to trade for Micah Parsons. I'm like, okay, Packers must be one of them. So I'll just keep an eye on it. Fast forward 2 or 3 hours later, the trade rumors are heating up. And I look, and the first tweet I saw was from Matt Schneidman, who is a very good friend of mine. Um, so shout out to Matt. I really love you, man, and I hope I get to see you soon at some point. But I saw a tweet from him that said that we had traded for Micah Parsons, and I was like, no way. And then I saw the tweets, and I saw all these tweets that said Micah Parsons is being traded to the Green Bay Packers, and I couldn't contain my excitement. Unfortunately, one of my coworkers, her husband is a Dallas Cowboys fan, and I told her, "Hey, you better check on your husband because we just took one of your husband's favorite players, and we just got him to Green Bay." And she's like, "Well, who?" And I'm like, "Micah Parsons." And she automatically was like, "Yeah, I better text him." So, and I felt bad because he's a huge Cowboys fan,
Yeah.
but all love to Cowboys fans. I mean, I definitely don't have any hate towards Cowboys fans at all. I do have hate towards Bears fans and Lions fans, who we might see next week.
Yeah, I mean, I used to like Lions fans. Just as a side note, they used to be very respectful, and all of a sudden they started winning, and then they got
Yeah,
really kind of
yeah,
mean.
yeah,
And I mean, I used to enjoy going to Lambeau and Packers Lions, and maybe it's because we won, and they just felt like they couldn't be mean. But now that
yeah,
they're winning,
mm,
there's some interesting characters. There's a lot of good ones out there.
yeah.
Don't get me wrong. It's just sometimes winning brings out the best of you, and sometimes it brings
Brings out
out
the worst in you.
some people that
Yeah,
I don't know. Let's
yeah.
just leave it at that.
But yeah, I was at work, so like couldn't contain my excitement. But then I texted Roy, and from then on, it's just been a frenzy. It's been a crazy 24 hours.
Yeah.
Um,
It's been fun.
and
Lot of
yeah,
energy.
but yeah, it's just again that's the magnitude of this trade. The
Mhm.
whole city is just
Like
excited.
I was
Yeah,
coming over to here to record, and there was one of those, TV billboards, and it said "Welcome to America's team," and it was green and yellow, and that was obviously intended for Micah Parsons.
right.
And because obviously Cowboys, America's team, so called in air
America's.
quotes.
Yeah.
But anyways, it's just like there's just a lot of energy, a lot of excitement, and rightfully so.
Yeah, and hopefully by this time next week, if we do record, we'll be talking about the Lions. We're still a week away from kickoff of the NFL season.
Yep.
Unfortunately, yes, we have to wait one more weekend until the NFL season kicks off, which we can barely wait because we're
Yeah.
going to that game. But
Yeah, it's gonna be fun.
yeah, it's gonna be fun. But yeah, next week we'll preview the Lions game, see what's
Mhm.
going on there. We'll kind of also see where Micah Parsons is, and whether or not he'll play.
If his
From
back's okay,
Yeah, if
that's a
his back's
big,
okay, yeah.
issue potentially.
He did say during the press conference today that the Packers brought him here to play, and they're not paying him to sit on the bench. So initial reactions, it looks like he's gonna play against the
I think he'll be
Lions.
okay.
I
Yeah.
think he'll be fine.
Yeah.
Just a really quick turnaround when it comes to learning the playbook, but obviously he said during his press conference today he's very optimistic,
Mhm.
and that he'll probably learn the playbook. He said he got his iPad today, which I'm guessing that that's where all the plays are and the playbook is.
Mhm. Yeah.
It's not like a big binder like it used to be. It's now all digital and
Yep.
everything. We're 2025.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, Jerry Jones doesn't live in 2025. He lives in the 90s. So, but
Or fortunate for us.
yeah, but very fortunate for us. Not to say that we took
Yeah.
advantage of the man, but thank you, Jerry Jones, for doing that for us and trading us one of your best players.
I have a cat named Jerry. So, yeah, he's a good cat.
Yeah. But yeah, until next week, we'll see you guys next week. Hopefully, it'll be both of us again.
Yeah.
Otherwise, it'll be one of us. Doesn't matter, but we always aim for it to be both of us.
Yeah.
So, but yeah, we'll see you next week.
All right.
Until next time,
Go Pack, go.
go Pack, go.